Hi everyone. So now what we're going to do is add in a few cards for the left hand side of our dashboard. I just want to add in a overview card which shows the sum of the profit, and also beside it we'll just have a year over year percent change, because this dashboard's only going to show, you're only going to be able to select 1 year, and it'll be really to compare from the previous year. So what I'll do is first we'll just add in our sum of profit into text, and we know that this is just the overall profit, and this is across all years. But we're going to want to create a parameter. Okay, and I'll change, just while we're here, I'll just change the format of this. Actually, I'll do it, you can do it in the data type itself. So I'll just change the data type. Currently it's just a whole number. But we change the default properties of it. So we can actually, I'll just go back to that. You can right click default properties and then number format. And we'll just keep it as currency custom. Yeah, we'll keep it as currency custom for now, because it will depend on what it's displaying. Maybe we'll want to show it with with no decimal places. But it'll depend, because whenever we're showing yearly profit, this will drop to thousands. But it might still be millions. It will depend on what filters are added. So let's just keep it as like this for now. Now I'm just going to rename this profit card. And then we're also just going to want to add a header. So the header will just be profit. And you can just double click into rows here. That'll be columns actually. And just in double quotation marks, we'll just add profit. Enter, and then that's just going to add a pill that says profit. Okay, so we can just make this a little bigger. I'll just drag it across, and I'm going to right click and hide the field labels, and then we'll format this on the left hand side. I'll just make the header into the, sorry, for the sheet in the pane, I'll make it all center, and then we can hide our grid lines, our row. It will be our row dividers. I'll just change it to none. Okay, so we'll leave the profit card like this for now. And what I want to do is add a new sheet, and I'll just rename it year over year percent change. So this is just going to be a yearly dashboard, and we're going to want to add a parameter so that you can only select 1 year at a time. And this will just show the percent change in profit from the previous year. So we do have a year field here, but it is currently a number, and it can cause issues if we change this to a date. So I would prefer just to create a custom date from our date field, which is a year. So we can just right click into our date field, create, and you have the option to create a custom date. And we just select the year, and we'll just name this, so we can't name it year because we already have a year field, but we'll name it date year with a hyphen. If we just click OK, you can see it's a date field now, and it's just going to display each year. Okay, so I'll just remove that, and now we can create a parameter that references this field. So we can either right click at the bottom here to create parameter, or we have a drop down box here, create parameter. And I don't want to name this parameter year either. So year parameter. And this will be a date. And we will allow a list, and we can add the values from our date year that we've just created. Okay, and now we have the 6 options. So it's going to be the value on the left hand side as it is a date field, but yeah, we can just show the year. So this is how it will display whenever it's being used. So I'll just create and enter in our 4 years here. Okay, and then we just click OK, and then our parameter will show up in the bottom left. Now to calculate our year-over-year percent change field, we're going to need to add in a couple more calculated fields. So we want one that just shows the chosen year's profit. So it'll be the chosen year and the year parameter. Let's just show this parameter actually. I'll just right click and show it. And we'll display it as a single title list. Okay, now we actually don't have a filter for this yet as well. I will create one while we're here. So it's just going to be a year filter. And it's just going to be year date, or date year I should say. So that's our field on the left here, being equal to our year parameter. And then if we bring that into filters, we just want that to be true. So we'll just tick true and apply that. And to calculate the profit, we're going to want to have a field which shows the chosen year profits here. So we'll create a new calculated field and we'll just name it chosen year profit. And it's just going to be an if the year date is equal to the year parameter, then we want to show profit. End. Okay, so if you want to see the breakdown of how these calculations are, you'll see there's an arrow here on the right. So it tells you why we're using end. Or if we just search if, click into our if, it's going to explain that if our expression, then that's what we want to show. And then you can add in more. And then we just always have to add in an end. So let's just apply that. Okay, and then we'll need to add another calculated field which shows last year's profit. So for that, we'll just create new calculated field and name it last year profit. Again, if our year date year is equal to, so we're going to need to subtract 1 year from our year date parameter that we've selected here. So to do that, we use date add. So you can see on the right here, date add, and then we select our input, which in our case will be year, and we're going to do -1 from the year date parameter. Okay, so it needs to be in single quotation marks. Our year -1, and then our year parameter. Okay, so if that's the case, then we'll show profit. End. Okay, I'm just going to hide this. And then we can apply that. And then our new field shows up on the left hand side here. Okay, so now we can use these two fields to create a new calculated field. And we'll just name it the year-over-year percent change. And it's going to just be the sum. So first we need to take the sum of the chosen year profit and we subtract the sum of the previous year profit. So we want to put that whole calculation into its own brackets as well. So I'm just going to add in brackets between those. And we divide that by the sum of last year profit just to get the percent change. And then it shows the calculation is valid. And now we have our year-over-year percent change. So I'll just drag that into text. Okay, it's not showing anything at the moment. And that's actually because we've added in our year filter. We don't want to add this for our profit because this calculation will only reference the 2 years that we've input. So if we actually remove this, it will now show a value, but we will want to add the year filter into our other cards, such as the profit. So if we bring this in true to our profit, then it's going to only show the profit for the selected year. So we can just test this and you can see it changes for each year selected. There's just 2 more things I would like to add here. One is just a column. Again, double click, year over year, percent change. I'll just hide the field label. Let's make it a bit bigger. Let's format our aggregate as well. So we want the positive, select a different year here. Yeah, we want that to show plus. So under our numbers, we'll just go to custom, or if we go to number custom, percentage. Yeah, it's not showing a plus here. So if we go to custom, we can just add this in, plus, and then a semicolon, and then a minus 0.0. Yeah, I only want to show one decimal place, so let's just do it 0.0%. Okay, now you can see we have a plus and our minus. And then we can just center them in our sheet. And again, remove our row dividers. None. Okay, so we'll leave it like this for now. We'll maybe come back and do some more formatting. We can add in an icon to show that it's gone down as well. So we'll do that when we're putting our dashboard together. But in the next video, I'll add our revenue card and our chart as well. So I'll see you there.